Hola! Today, we're going to review the uses of the verb ser and the verb estar. These two verbs both mean to be, and we're going to review their conjugations and also how and why they are used. As we go over how and why these verbs are used, you'll also learn some mnemonic devices that will help you, potentially, to remember when they're used. We'll also go over each reason why ser is used and why estar is used in detail. As we mentioned in class previously, this is something that some students really get, like everything, and something that some students struggle with. If you find yourself struggling with ser and estar, especially early on, please don't be worried. It will get easier with more practice, and if you need additional practice or help, feel free to ask at any time. Let's begin now with the conjugations of the verb ser. Make sure that you write down the conjugations of the verb ser so that you have them handy as we begin to work with ser and estar and when we use them both. I am is yo soy. You are informal is tú eres. He or she is or you are formal, él, ella, or usted es. We are, nosotros somos. You all are, en España only, is vosotros sois. And they are, or you all are, is ellos son, for they are, and ustedes son, for you all are. Once again, you want to make sure that you have this down accurately so that you have good information that you can refer to quickly as we're using this, and you don't have to go sorting through all of your notes from earlier in the year. The mnemonic device that we're going to use for when we use the verb ser is doctor. The D stands for description, O, occupation, C, characteristic, T, time, O, origin, and R, relationship. Make sure you write these down, as once you do examples, it may be useful to you to think, oh, I think it's a description. You can look it up and figure out what verb to use. Starting on página 2 of the notes, we have some more detailed information. For D, the D of doctor, description, we're talking about things that are usually permanent. This is one of the most common reasons given for the use of ser. So things that are usually permanent, like someone's appearance, someone's personality, or someone's name. So for example, here we have yo soy Catalina, soy alta y morena, soy simpática, trabajadora y loca. Describing one's name, one's physical appearance, and one's personality in order. The next one is occupation. What's your job? What do you do for a living? Ustedes son estudiantes, for the time being. But yes, that's your job right now. Ustedes son estudiantes. Mi esposo es ingeniero. Ingeniero means engineer. Mi padre y mi hermano son abogados. Abogado means lawyer. And yo soy maestra. As you may remember, the word maestra is another way of saying teacher. C is for characteristics. So in addition to describing people, you can be describing colors, shapes, sizes, etc. So this is a bit redundant in terms of description, but someone may say, well, what are your characteristics? Tell me about the characteristics of this person. So if you're describing, for example, someone in a story on a TV show, you still use ser. So yo soy alta y un poco loca. Mis colores favoritos son morado, negro y azul. Mi casa, my house, es pequeña. We also use ser for time, because if you think of it, time is cyclical, at least in terms of the 24 hours of the day, the days of the week, the months of the year. So it is kind of repetitive in that way. We could say it's permanent. You use time to tell the hour, what day it is, and the date. So we have a few questions here that we're going to answer. ¿Qué hora es? ¿Qué día es? ¿Cuál es la fecha de hoy? And you'll say that the fecha de hoy is not, of course, the date of the day on which you're taking these notes. I will also give you out loud the date of the day on which you're taking these notes if you prefer to write that down. We have son las 8:15. Es jueves el 4 de abril is what it says there. If you want to make sure that you're writing down the exact date from the day on which you're taking these notes, you could write down es miércoles el 3 de mayo. The next O is origin, so describing where someone is from. We all live in Framingham right now, but that doesn't mean that's where we are originally from. If someone were to ask me, ¿de dónde eres tú?, I would answer, yo soy de Chicago. Soy de, I am from, Chicago. Finally, we use ser to describe interpersonal relationships between family members, friends, colleagues, etc. So describing some of my family here, Rosalind y Seth son mis padres, Sarah y Noah son mis hermanos, Ricky es mi esposo, Evan y Diana son mis hijos, yo soy hija, hermana, esposa y madre. So first, I described everyone else's relationship to me, and then I described my role in a family based on my relationship to all the people listed previously. So whenever you're describing your family relationships, you will be using ser. We're going to move on now to estar, the irregular verb estar. And remember, it's very important to be careful with the accents here, especially with estás and está, because if you don't have them, the verb means something completely different. It's not even a verb anymore. So I am, yo estoy. You are informal, tú estás. He or she is or you are. Él, ella or usted está. We are, nosotros estamos. You all are, vosotros estáis. That's the one that's only used in Spain. And they are, or you all are, ellos or ellas están, for they are. Ustedes están, for you all are. The mnemonic device that we use for estar is shorter. The word is pelt. And so the P stands for present progressive, which is something you'll learn more in Spanish 2 next year. I'll mention it briefly as we continue with the notes, but it's not something you need to be an expert on right now. Emotions, location, and temporary. We use the present progressive to talk about what's happening right now. It's really used for emphasis to let a listener or a reader know that whatever is going on is happening right at the moment that the individual who is talking is speaking. A quick example is la maestra está hablando, los estudiantes están escribiendo. The teacher is talking, the students are writing. Like I said, this is something just for your information, but you'll get more information about it next year. Emotions. We use estar to talk about how people are feeling. So we have here, los estudiantes están nerviosos porque tienen un examen. La profesora está cansada. We also use estar for location. So this is where someone or something is located, temporarily or permanently. So if you take a look at the first example here, ¿Dónde están ustedes? Nosotros estamos en la clase de español. It's talking about where we all are at this point in time, temporarily. When the bell rings, you go on to your next class. The second one, however, ¿Dónde está la FHS? We have la FHS está en la calle A in Framingham. It's talking about the location of a building. Not necessarily permanent as in forever, but certainly much more permanent as than the amount of time that we'll be spending in Spanish class today or any day. Finally, we use estar to talk about things that are usually temporary. Temporary has to do with how you're feeling emotionally and physically at a certain point in time. ¿Cómo estás tú hoy? Hoy yo estoy mal porque estoy enojado. Once you've completed these notes and have down good information, please follow some of the links to practice a bit with ser and estar. The links will be available to you through the same assignment on which you are able to receive this video and view this video in Canvas.